Good morning, Poet fans. Welcome to another segment of our Coach's Corner here this week. Joining me on WCPoets.com is our head men's soccer coach, Shea Harwell. Shea, thanks for hopping on with me today.
Thanks for having me, Lance. Always a pleasure.
Yeah, always good to talk to you. First question here for you is how has life been during quarantine? You have a new addition to the family as well, and how has that been and what else have you been up to?
Yeah, I think like everyone else, it's been a difficult time for me and my family. I've had some family members going through a bit of anxiety, and we just kind of look at that as the next challenge to overcome. We don't have athletics to compete necessarily right now, so this is the thing that we're doing. And yes, I'm very busy with a new 1-year-old daughter who I love very much, and it's been a blessing in disguise to get to spend so much time with her and my wife at home, getting to do things from here. It's really offered us kind of a new perspective. And really, there's a lot of gratitude for all the things we miss, and there's gratitudes for the things we have. You really have to keep all that stuff in focus. So it's been an eye-opening experience as we kind of awaken to everything here, and just kind of look forward to a future without COVID, hopefully.
Of course. And how has Brianna been doing?
She's been doing well, same as me. She's been coaching from home virtually. It's been, like I said, challenging, but we've had opportunities to really kind of connect one-on-one and in small groups with our athletes, which, is always something we want to do more of. So.
And that takes me to the next question. Since you can't see your athletes in person right now, how do you keep them motivated and ready for the upcoming season, potentially coming back in the springtime?
Yeah, I think it's really important that we focus on the things that we can do rather than the things that we can't do. Everyone is going to have their limitations in life, regardless of COVID or isolation. So focusing on the positives and the things that we can do really help us. One of the ways that we try to do that is through the soccer class that we have. So this semester, we have a 1-credit soccer class that our athletes are enrolled in that's allowed us to do virtual Zooms, to do soccer assignments, workouts, lifts. We're able to kind of include a holistic program this semester, which is exciting. For us, the biggest thing I think that I like is personal growth Tuesdays. So we have a Tuesday, Thursday class, and every Tuesday, the main focus is some leadership or some off the field aspect of life, right? Which for us is a big part of our program and things that we really, take pride in. But we've been able to hit on topics that we don't usually have time for because of training, because of lift, because of nutrition, because of talking to these guys about all these different aspects, of the game and of life. So, we get tactical Thursdays, we have team Zooms, we have guest speakers who come in for the class. We're really trying to think of innovative and new ways to connect with the athletes and to help them connect with each other. Because at the end of the day, all these guys are still going to school and they're still, young men that are trying to figure out how to socialize and be a part of society. And really, we're just here to kind of guide them through that. So it's been new and different, and we're trying to make it as exciting and fun and creative as possible.
Of course, new ways to think outside the box. And if anyone can do it, you can do it, Shea.
Thanks, Lance.
Now, the fall season, like we know, has been postponed, and the season has potential to be played in the spring. Fingers crossed that will happen. With a few months away from competition, how do you stay focused and positive on recruiting and getting back to a new normal in the new year?
Firstly, I'd just like to commend, our administrators, both at the college level and in athletics, with our athletic director, Rock Carter, to postpone the season. It was a really hard decision for everyone, but it ended up being the right choice, the safe choice. And so I really am encouraged by the idea that we're optimistic about the return of soccer in the spring. The SCIAC kind of coming together has been something that we as coaches all still talk, and we're talking about the season, different things. And it's interesting how the priorities shift from that competitive necessarily, like we're not really as friendly because we're competing all the time against each other, to now it's more collaborative where, we have coaches trying to figure out ways to have this be the safest environment, to be the, best structure for, our athletes, and I really think that helps give them hope and give them, things to look forward to, and offer a bit of optimism towards, preparing right now for things to come. Because the thing we all have to remember is we feel isolated. We feel like this is going to go on forever. We feel like we're condemned to this current existence, but it's not forever, and it's going to change. We're going to go back to, everyone says the new normal, but it's going to be whatever it is, and we're going to be able to interact and engage again. So it's really just trying to be as optimistic as possible, find new goals, different things to focus on. And if that means that we have to be, more individual, then we'll do it.
Mm-hmm. Now, like you're talking about, things will be different when we do return to sports. What are some areas that you think might be different when you approach practices and games? Are you going to do more small groups, individual one-on-ones? And maybe let's talk about some of the dates in the fall that you're allotted with your team. What kind of things are you doing with them?
Yeah, so what's interesting is the structure of the spring that the SCIAC has proposed is actually pretty awesome. I think it's very inclusive. There's lots of trainings that get to happen. The spring is like a full type of season. Granted, there are less competition dates that we're allowed because of everything that goes into competing and the safety issues and things like that. But we've really tried to get creative in the way we're putting together the structure of our practices and training sessions. And at the end of every year, I feel like I sit down with our coaching staff and we always reflect on the previous season. And one of the things we always say is that I wish we had more time to spend with the individual athlete to talk about his life and his family and his goals and the things like that. So that's going to be a big piece of what we try to focus on. And obviously we'll utilize any opportunity we have to be on a field, to be competing, to be out in the sunshine, every chance we can get, just to get back out there. But there'll be adjustments, and we'll be creative with the challenges and the ways that we deal with those.
And do you feel your athletes are okay with that, being engaged, like they've been up to date, contacting you, and they're okay with this right now for what we're doing?
I mean, these guys are thirsting for interaction. These guys are thirsting for competition. You have to imagine that, you were an athlete, Lance, right? So we spent our entire lives participating in athletics, and then we get to this point where all of a sudden we're not allowed to be on a soccer field. We're not allowed to, compete, where this was a fabric woven into the structure of our lives. So I think they're really ready to be back, to be out there. And I'm really proud of my guys for the patience and the understanding that they've had and the work they've put towards the future and the success that we might have then.
Now, let's talk about some of your new players that are coming in. I've been able to talk with a few of them during our Poet Primetime segments, and also with some of the emails I've had of correspondence with them. Did you have a successful offseason with recruits, and are you going to continue to have that competition on the field? And are you excited for this new group that you have?
Yeah, I'm really excited. It's interesting because my coaching staff and I have been kind of building up to this moment. Every year we want to compete to be the best, but last year was an amazing year for us. We had a chance to win the SCIAC championship, and we fell short a little bit, as will sometimes happen, but we're returning most of those players. We have a great recruiting class. The incoming freshmen are really exciting for us because they're not just good athletes, but they're like the Whittier guys, right? That type that's going to fit right into our culture. And this COVID thing has thrown a little wrench in the works, but it's going to add to the 2021 recruiting class. So there's going to be a lot of new faces eventually, right, next fall. And there'll be a lot of guys who haven't had a lot of time, even if we get a spring, right, season, to kind of meld and mold in there. So it'll be a lot of new faces, a lot of excitement, and a lot of, getting everyone up to speed. So the freshman class looks really bright. We're excited to get to work with those boys, and the 2021s are also pretty exciting. We're looking forward to that crew as well.
Now, you clinched a spot in the SCIAC tournament a year ago, like you mentioned, as the number 3 seed, the first time earning a berth since 2013. What confidence does this give you heading into this next year? You also have 3 All-SCIAC performers returning for next year, including your starting goalie. Is your team going to continue competing at a high level?
I think it's super important that we, talk about the things we've done in the past a little bit. But it's really important not to get hung up on those. So it's important to know where you've come from. And I think that doing as well as we did last year has really kind of bred that successful mentality in their minds to where now they just want to win it. Now they just want, before they wanted to win it too, but now it's just like we were so close. We got the taste of it, and it's hard to get that taste out of your mouth. So we're definitely, hungering for success. I think we always strive for excellence in everything that we do. I think it's really important that we, not just focus on winning soccer games, but creating, quality young men of society, because at the end of the 4 years, they're all going to be men in society. And so we want that to reflect well on the poet name. Yesterday, I think it was Coach's Day. And I had a text from an ex-athlete who just said, "Hey, I saw this post on Instagram, and I thought it was ironic because Nixon, a Whittier College alum, actually imposed the National Coaches Day. But I just wanted to tell you what an amazing experience I had at Whittier, and the opportunity that you gave me helped create the person that I am." And for me, this guy is just trying to compliment me and thank me for the opportunity. And he has no idea how much I needed to hear that, how much I needed to be reminded of that. And that really resonates with what we want to create here. So thinking back on last year's success, it excites me, it invigorates me, it gets me really focused on helping, the guys that we have in any way that we can. But thinking towards the future and next year and competition, yeah, we want to win it, and yeah, we're going to do everything we can. I think we have a great chance to win the SCIAC and even go on to the national tournament once they open that up. And this spring will just be a little preview, a little taste of what we're capable of.
Of course. Now, the last question I have for you: you're a Whittier College athlete. You're a soccer player. You're a graduate from Whittier College. You've been around Whittier College just as long as I have. And, so what's been going on. And this place, it holds close to your heart. Any words of wisdom or things or any motivation that you can talk to some athletes that are coming in, maybe your soccer players that are going to see this, what kind of words of, wisdom or what can you do to help guide them here in this process?
Yeah. I think obviously Whittier has a ton to offer all of our athletes. We have gorgeous facilities. We're in Southern California, which the weather is, pretty difficult to beat, as long as there's not fires happening. And our coaching staff is clearly outstanding. But the best thing about Whittier, and the reason that I've stayed, is that these athletes are able to influence their own futures. They're able to dictate their own educational pathway that they get to walk on. I mean, you and I both took such a large and active role in what it is that we wanted to achieve here at Whittier. And I think that's what a lot of our athletes do. And that's why a lot of our athletes are successful in whatever area they want to study and whatever career path they want to get into. So my advice to, future poets and our potential recruits is to dive in, to be active in your workouts, to be active in your classes, to be engaged in your educational pathway, and let it change you, because it will, for the better.
Of course. Well, Shea, that's all the time we have here today with you on our Coach's Corner. I want to thank you so much for joining me today. A lot of insight. And, it's just you're like a motivational speaker. That's what you are.
Thank you. Coaching is, right?
Yeah, right. So again, thank you so much for hopping on. Next week, we'll have another segment of Coach's Corner for all of you tuning in here to WCPoets.com. Shea, enjoy the time with your family, and make sure you're staying safe, and hopefully we'll be able to catch up with you soon here in person.
Thanks, Lance. Go Poets!